Hi, my name is Jonas, this is Sublime Media. And on this channel I talk about records and record related stuff. Like today when I'm going to talk about Blue Note records. Yes, I buy a lot of Blue Note records, the classics and the Tone Poets series. And I pile them all together, so when I have a decent amount I show them as an entire stack. Do a dedicated video sorts with these releases. And I just finished listening to this and I thought that this would be a good opportunity to just do a Blue Note, dedicated Blue Note video. So first, as you know, subscribe if you like what I do here, give this a thumbs up. That will make sure that this gets spread to even more people. Comment, that also helps the algorithm to play along. And yeah, hit the bell if you want to have like notifications when I have a new video up. So yeah, but let's show some records and talk about them, shall we? Yeah, but intro first. So this was sort of the reason why I hit record today. I just finished listening to this and it's such an amazing release. So I'm going to go through this and my thoughts about it, and then I'm going to go through the rest of my pile of Blue Note classics and Tone Poets. This is the Sonny Rollins Night at the Village Vanguard, the Complete Masters. So this came out in 1957 as a single disc, obviously. It was the first recorded, at least, session or live take at the Village Vanguard. So Rudy and all the boys just went down there with sort of portable recording equipment, portable for being 1957, and recorded the entire sort of sessions. There's a beautiful booklet that comes with this. It's, I wouldn't buy this just for the booklet, but it's a damn nice document when it comes to this iconic recording. And I'm gonna leave a link up here wherever it shows, because there's actually a take of, or an excerpt, if that's the word for it, from the Saxophone Colossus by Aidan Levy. I did an interview with Aidan over a year ago when he just released his book about Sonny Rollins. Amazing. So that's also awesome. They use this, they start to do this trifold. I have never seen that before, but I've seen many audiophile records getting this treatment now, and I really like it. It's much better than the ordinary sort of stuff 3 records in one fat or a box. I like this. I'm not a huge box kind of guy, but I really like this. So needless to say, this is the Tone Poet treatment with Stoughton jacket, mastered by Kevin Gray, all that good jazz, thick ass jacket, really nice. So definitely a highlight from this year's Blue Note release up to this date at least. And I think that the only record that has gotten this treatment before this is the Blue Train by John Coltrane. So moving on. The first one in the classic series that I'm going to talk about today is Spring with Tony Williams. This is, or he called himself Anthony Williams back in the day. This is from 1966. And Tony Williams was only 20 years old when this was recorded, which is just like... all of the composition is penned by Tony Williams himself, and obviously Tony Williams being one of the best drummers in the world that we have seen especially on the jazz scene. It's a drummer's wet dream. He is really on fire on this one, and we're going to talk about another one by Tony Williams soon. But yeah, I would also sort of highlight the two saxophone players, Wayne Shorter and especially Sam Rivers, which I think is really stretching it on this one. Other players also is Herbie Hancock, Gary Peacock, and then yeah, Tony Williams on drums. And I'm going to show you the label, but they look the same on all the releases. You know, it's the classic Blue Note label, so I'm not going to show that anymore. You know how it looks like, so I'm going to concentrate on just the covers, if that's okay with you. Another classic series, and another sort of, I think this came out this year, 2024, so a pretty recent one when this is shot. Anyway, this is happenings with Bobby Hutcherson, 1967, did I say that? This is a great quartet record with Herbie Hancock, Bob Cranshaw, and Joe Chambers. And if you have followed my channel and watched me talk about jazz, you know that vibraphone is not really my favorite jazz instrument. I could even stretch it to say that I'm not a fan. But in this case, great. Works perfectly as sort of the main man of the session, obviously being Bobby Hutcherson. But also, you can't forget the brilliance of Herbie Hancock on this one. All the tracks are penned by Bob Hutcherson except for Maiden Voyage, which starts the second side, and Maiden Voyage is a track or a composition by Herbie Hancock. He actually recorded that just a year before this release and released that on the self-titled record on Blue Note. So it would be kind of nice to know the reason why, or the discussion why they decided on recording that and using that on this session with this quartet. It's a great rendition of it. Is it better than the first one? I don't think so, but it's a really good take on that song, and today that's almost like a standard, isn't it? So happenings with Bob Hutcherson, and staying in the same personnel sort of is Herbie Hancock, Speak Like a Child, also released this year 2024, so a pretty recent one. This gets the gatefold treatment without being a tone poet, which I think is pretty nice. It's not the same quality of Jacket, but it's quality still. 1968, so this is the year after the Bobby Hutcherson record. What I think you should note here is that this is the year before he is releasing Prisoners, and Prisoners is the answer, a very political answer after the assassination of Martin Luther King, if I'm not mistaken. Where that is a very political record, this is a more, like, I shouldn't say childlike record, but there is definitely a playing, exploring sort of. It's not a statement more than a move forward when it comes to pushing the boundaries of what jazz is. It's brilliant. You have Herbie Hancock, Ron Carter, Mickey Rooker, Thad Jones, Peter Phillips on bass trombone, and Jerry Dodgeon on alto flute, which I have no idea. I've never heard him before. And all the tracks are penned by Herbie Hancock, except for one track, which is First Trip by Ron Carter. Another thing to note on this one is that there are two tracks, Riot and The Sorcerer, which is compositions that he used in the famous quintet with Miles Davis. Sorcerer on the record Sorcerer, and I think that Riot is on Nefertiti. Both recorded a year or two before this. So again, what we see here is a rendition of already very popular songs, but with a completely different lineup. This also highly recommended, really good. And the cover artwork I think is also interesting. This is not a Reed Miles design at all. This was, I think, Francis Wolff that loved this photo of Herbie Hancock and his then wife, so they decided to put that on the cover. The next one, also a classic series. This was released in 2023, and I actually had a 70s reissue. I decided to go for this and sell my 70s reissue, and I'm glad I did, because this sounds so much better. Cecil Taylor, Unistructures, man, what an artist Cecil Taylor was. If you're in the mood for his music, there is nothing that can really compare to it. His piano playing and his approach, especially maybe going into the 70s, is just unheard of. This is from 1966, and it's a free jazz record through and through. I mean, imagine this is the first one that he cut for Blue Note, his first Blue Note record. Imagine you being like going into a record store, seeing the new Blue Note release, having in your baggage, just having that Blue Note sort of cozy sound. Obviously things were moving in 1966 when it comes to pushing the boundaries of what jazz was, but I don't think that anyone was ready for this when they dropped the needle the first time. I could only imagine what went through people's head. And the lineup, again, stellar. The ones that stands out for me is Jim Lyons on alto sax. You have Ken McIntyre on alto sax. Cecil Taylor obviously on piano. Henry Grimes on bass. Alan Silva on bass. And Andrew Cyril on drums. I mean, this is the free jazz pioneers of tomorrow, isn't it? On one freaking record. This, audiophile wise, I mean, sonic wise, this is a dream come true. I mean, I've never heard this sound as good as it does on this classic series. And the music is a 6 out of 5. It doesn't get any better than this if you are in the mood for it, and if you are open-minded enough to really grasp the free form that they were exploring here. So leaving the safe haven of the classic series, going into the a little bit more pricey but still single jacket world of tone poets. This 1968 Duke Pearson, The Phantom, featuring Bobby Hutcherson, is again a magnificent record. And there are two things that I can't stand in jazz, and that is Latin or bossa nova and vibes. And this includes both, and it's fantastic. Don't listen to me when it comes to reviewing this record. I won't talk about it. Go to 10-minute record reviews. Alan is doing a great job in reviewing jazz records, and if he has done a review of a record, there's no need to talk about the music, I mean, or the background behind it. 10-minute record reviews, go check that out about Duke Pearson. The thing that I take from that video by Alan, and that I agree upon, is that sure, Duke Pearson was a sort of a extremely important player, not only player but personnel in the Blue Note sort of staff. Released some brilliant records, but maybe even more important as a producer, moving on, incorporating that sort of Latin and bossa kind of feel to it. So I think that you guys that really digs that sort of genre when it comes to jazz have a lot to thank Duke for. Anyway, yeah, great one. And sonic wise, again, it feels like I'm repeating myself. I have nothing bad to say about these releases, but that's because they sound so good. It's not like a sales pitch or anything. This is just what I'm hearing. It's like you are sitting in on the sessions. I kid you not. Like, and if you know, you know. I mean, you know. So I said that I won't show any more labels, but I'm going to show this one because it's a different label. But sorry. So this is the next tone poet that I'm going to show you. This is a single sleeve. This is Picture of Heath from 1958 with Chet Baker, Art Pepper, and Phil Urso. Also with Carl Perkins, Curtis Sounds, and Loris Marble. Comes with an insert, and in this case, it's actually a Pacific Jazz release. I don't know. Can you see that through the plastic? Anyway, I think one of the more popular records on that label, and for good reason. This was first put out with a different cover artwork. This was called Playboys, and it had the font the same as the magazine, but the magazine ended up suing them, so they changed the cover artwork to this. Later on, we have had different cover artworks for it since 1958. You know, some reissues labels do go with that sort of Playboys style or cover. But just so you know, and again, if you want to know the background behind this, Alan did a great job on 10-minute records review. Just look that up, put that in the search bar together with Playboys, and you will get the full background in 10 minutes about this record. I don't think that I've ever heard Chet Baker play this good. Now, I'm not a huge Chet Baker fan. I don't buy Chet Baker records. I think that some of the Chet Baker I've listened to is boundary elevator music, and I can't stand it. And the stuff that I've heard where he sings, it's really not my bag. But I'm not huge into vocal jazz, as you've seen. I've never shown it because I rarely buy it. So for me, he is playing a really good here. The same goes with Art Pepper. Great release by Blue Note. I think one of the records that really stands out when it comes to these single sleeves in Tone Poet series. Okay, so the next one I was actually a little bit afraid of playing, because my expectations was so damn high when it comes to this, because I have still yet to listen to an Andrew Hill record from Blue Note that isn't a 5 out of 5 record. That being said, Andrew Hill is my favorite Blue Note artist, not because he's on some of my favorite records. I'm a little bit more like standard when it comes to that. Like, I really love Blue Train, and I love Signwinder and stuff like that. But when it comes to being 100% consistent of putting out masterpieces, it's Andrew Hill. So I was a little bit afraid of playing it, that I wouldn't like it. But I love this record. It's a fantastic record. Recorded in 1968, shelved for 12 years. Released in 1980 with a sort of that white with a photo in the middle kind of cover. Sucks. Really ugly. Many of the Blue Tone Poet releases, this is actually from that series. Anyway, I'm so glad that they went with the CD version that they put out in the 90s. So yeah, Dance with Death, Charles Tolliver, Joe Farrell, Victor Sproles, and Billy Higgins. And I have to say that kudos to Joe Farrell on this one. I mean, if you've listened to Joe Farrell's CTI stuff, you know that his playing is so, in my opinion at least. There are some fantastic records with Joe Farrell, don't get me wrong. But yeah, not my top favorite sax player. You also have Charles Tolliver on trumpet, which makes this record really swing. And Billy Higgins on drums. I mean, as soon as you have Billy Higgins on a record, you know it's gonna be a hit. And I think that all the tracks were penned by Andrew Hill also, which just proof of his brilliance. Moving into Gatefold, Sturdy Jackets, Tone Poet, Country. I put all my Tone Poets in these thick gatefold sleeves. I think that the already beautiful cover artwork gets even more beautiful in one of these sleeves. So yeah, Dance with Death, 1968. I wrote some lines here, but I actually ended my comments when I listened to this with my top 5 favorite Tone Poet releases, not only for the music but also for the sound. I think it sounds brilliant, so obviously highly recommended. Okay, next one is Horace Silver Quintet, further explorations by the Horace Silver Quintet. It's 1958. You also have Art Farmer, Cliff Jordan, Teddy Kotick, and Louis Haynes on drums. And few people, in my opinion, personifies Blue Note records than Horace Silver. When I think of Horace Silver, I think about Blue Note and the other way around. He has put out some amazing records for the label. And even if this is not the absolute best, it's still a very good listen. So I highly recommend it again. With Sturdy Jacket, Gatefold, session photos, all the good jazz. Yeah, so glad I have it. So, 1964. This is a highlight of this video, in my opinion. If you're gonna check one record out, I think that, this would be it. This is Lifetime by Tony Williams again. This is the first record that he produced for Blue Note Records. And he was only 19 years old when he recorded this. So let that just sink in for a little bit. On this record you have Sam Rivers on tenor saxophone, Bobby Hutcherson on vibes, Herbie Hancock on piano, Richard Davis on bass, and Gary Peacock also on bass, and then Tony Williams on drums, obviously. Not only is he playing some of the best drums you have ever heard, but he has also compiled all of the tunes. Like, he is the author of all the compositions on this one. A teenager for Blue Note Records with that lineup just goes in with his own material and plays this. I get goosebumps just talking about it. It's just insane. And I mean, the year before this, the guy had played on numerous famous recordings with Miles Davis, Mansour the Third, Mansour the Third. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. Jackie McLean and Herbie Hancock. I mean, imagine the calendar of this guy recording those iconic records. Just 60, what did I say? 60, yeah, 63, 64. Insane. I also want to point out, if you want even more review of this, a better review, a more in-depth review, what Ken Brown here on YouTube did a fantastic review of this, and he actually ended the video saying that in his opinion, with the tone poets that he has, this is the best sounding one in his entire tone poet collection. And he's not wrong. Like, I don't know which ones that I don't have that he has, but it sounds like a dream. This is wild. This is wild, and it sounds amazing. Get it? Yeah, next one was recorded in 1965, but wasn't released until 1979. This is Clubhouse by Dexter Gordon. One of the best cover artworks in my opinion. This is really nice for being one of the sort of the new designs when they didn't have a new design for the record. Dexter Gordon, 1965. Dexter Gordon is a little bit of a hit and miss sort of jazz artist for me. He's not my favorite saxophone player, not by a long shot. When he's good, he's really good. He has a distinct tone on his saxophone, and you know that it is him every time. Like, almost like Ben Webster, you can tell within a second that it's that artist. And he has a warm tone, but some of the records, I feel like he isn't really trying. Like, it's almost elevator music, you know. It just goes on, and sure, pretty high quality, surely, but I'm not buying these records to have in the background. That's not how I listen to my records. I want to sit down and really have that sort of, have the music wash over me, and I don't feel like Dexter Gordon is really that sort of a artist. But when he is good, he is really good, and this he is really good on this one. He has that warm Dexter Gordon tone. Definitely. You also have Freddie Hubbard playing his heart out, Barry Harris, Bob Cranshaw, and Billy Higgins. Again, Billy Higgins. I mean, if you see Billy Higgins on drums, get it. I think that he is one of the unsung heroes of the Blue Note catalog, but he's sung. They have sung songs of Billy Higgins. But yeah, and last but definitely not least is this. This is Elvin Jones. Let's see here. There's a bunch of stuff here. You have 3 LP sets on this trifold thing, and this is what I mean. I feel like the new stuff that they did with Night at Village Vanguard is preferred in my opinion, but maybe it's a matter of cost. This is Elvin Jones Revival live at Pokey's Pub. Elvin Jones on Blue Note. This was shelved, so it was recorded but never released until now. Comes with a booklet with essays and background of this. It's just, and a little bit of the drummers from the day. What's most interesting here, in my opinion, is that Pokey's Pub is a pretty small jazz venue in New York. So you have a world-renowned artist, 1968, 67, sorry, 67, in this pretty small club, together with Joe Farrell again on tenor saxophone, Billy Green on piano, Larry Young, and Wilbur Little on bass. So a pretty closed setting. This is after, obviously, he left John Coltrane's group, because John Coltrane was going in other directions. This actually recorded just 2 weeks after John Coltrane's death. So that was also one of the reasons that I wanted to listen to this, because how are you approaching your instrument after one such I imagine close friend and mentor has left this earth? How does it sound? And yeah, it sounds great. This is a document that I'm so happy that they found it and they released it, you know. With that out of the way, how is the sound quality of this? Well, so. This is one of those records that is, you buy it more for the music than the sound quality. It's still good for what it is. Like, I don't know how they recorded it. It's should say in the book, I should know, but it's not like absolutely not a 10, not even a 7, maybe a 6, like on the sort of sonics side of things. But music, fantastic. So happy that we have this, that we can enjoy this on our systems now. And that's it. I hope you liked that. Please comment if you have comments, and yeah, give this a thumbs up, subscribe, all that good jazz, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Have a great day, everyone. Bye. Thank you so much for watching this all the way to the end, and if somewhere along, I don't know where, but you can check out other videos that I've done. I'm like up to 400 videos, something like that, over these 14 years that I've been here. So I think there's something for everyone if you want to continue watching. So thank you again, and have a great day. Bye.